Hey again, everybody. If we just joined us for the last episode, or if you're just coming in brand new now, thank you for joining us tonight on Slam Nation Wrestling. Once again, Lord Cash, how's it going over there?
I'm ready to get this double feature on the way.
Awesome. Tonight, we're going to be talking about your favorite WWE tag teams of all time. If you have one you'd like to share, throw it in the comments. Even if you're watching this on replay in the future, why not? Conversations are great. Now, these choices are not necessarily based on true success in the ring. Some of our picks may have never won the tag team championships. Some may have won it 20 times. These are just simply things that we felt at the time as fans, the emotions, the feelings that we got, and just basically who we liked. So,
Yep.
Lord, are you ready to get this ball rolling? Who was one of your top picks?
So for me, my top. So this is my number 5, working my way up to number 1. Little group that when they debuted, they made quite an impact, and that would be none other than The Shield.
What a debut they did have, for sure.
And I need to learn how to use the pause button. So that was just a preview of what was on the worst of.
Yeah,
The Shield. As you said, that when they came in, they really impacted, coming from the stands, and just decimating everybody. I believe it was a match with John Cena at the time, and they just decimated them. Or am I thinking of something else?
Believe it or not, I think it might have been actually. I think Ryback was involved in it. I think they came out to end a match where CM Punk was the champion, but it might have been a 3-way. It might have been like Cena might have been out there too. All I know is this trio was undefeated for quite some time, and you're looking at 3 WWE champions right there. I'm sure Hall of Famers. I'm sure Dean Ambrose will come back, after his time at AEW. But yeah, you can't. There's no way to discount this pick right there, Laura Cash. What a great pick right here with the Shield.
So, like I said, when I will say though, when they first debuted, I necessarily didn't like them too much, but they definitely worked their ways on me, and I definitely started liking them when Seth Rollins turned his back on them. That was devastating to me, because I was like, yeah, that was a huge moment of a betrayal and things of a nature. So. But this was my number 5 pick.
If you had to pick one member of the Shield that you long-term enjoy the most, who would it be?
Ooh. It would probably have to be Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
He's probably the one that I gravitated toward the most, especially in their single career. Seth Rollins is fantastic. Roman Reigns is great, especially with the gimmick that he's got going on right now. But the unhinged, psychopath that Dean Ambrose had, he played it to a T, and I thought he did fantastic at it. And I really, really enjoyed his singles run.
Agreed. Yeah, and exactly. They've all had a variety of different versions of their own characters, but yeah, hell of a career for all 3 of them. And as a unit, I mean, you're going to be seeing this again at some point, I'm sure.
Of course.
One of my picks right here was actually the world's greatest tag team, and also the Natural Disasters. Once again, I have to learn how to hit my pause too. World's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. They came out of the gate swinging as part of the Team Angle. What a threesome they had with Kurt Angle right there, during the march to WrestleMania 19, if I'm not mistaken. But these guys had some killer matches. One of my all-time favorites of the world's greatest tag team was a ladder match at Judgment Day 2003, I believe, where it was Eddie Guerrero. It's supposed to be Los Guerreros, but Chavo got injured. And do you remember Chavo at the last minute?
Oh man, because we just watched this earlier in the year.
We did, yeah. So check that out on our YouTube page, guys. We did actually do that back in February, I think.
like I want to say Rey Mysterio, but I don't think that's right.
No, they did have a run, Mysterio and Guerrero, but no, it's just Tajiri.
That's right. It was Tajiri.
Yeah, definitely look that up, though. Take a look at a ladder match from Judgment Day between the world's greatest tag team and Tajiri and Eddie Guerrero. What an amazing team these guys were, though. So crisp. And then you got Shelton Benjamin. He is still going at it today. And when he's given the opportunity, what an amazing athlete. And he can do such good things. But that's one of my favorite tag teams of all time.
All righty. So working up to place number 4, this is a tag team that definitely they knew the ring very well. They utilized the ring, all of it, and did some incredible maneuvers. So definitely they were one of the greatest high flyers in my opinion. And that, of course, is Paul London and later known as the Brian Kendrick.
Spanky before this.
Spanky, yes. So I thought they were really well together. I enjoyed their chemistry. And again, they were those great high flyers, just all over the tops of the turnbuckles and just doing all sorts of things in that ring that I just feel like this is earns them one of the best top spots, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. And, you know, a lesser known version, but not necessarily even as bad or worse or anything. I believe Paul London also tag team with Billy Kidman around the same era too.
Yeah, I believe so. But then they did bring home the gold a couple times along the way. So definitely, like I said, in my book, definitely is one of the better known tag teams out there.
I believe they have a connection to the one year worst. I believe that Deuce and Domino beat them for the belts. I believe so.
And maybe that's one of my my resentments there, you know.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
defeated.
Kendrick and London, though, Lord Cash, fantastic pick. Those guys are a really great tag team, underappreciated in this era, unfortunately.
All righty. Well, what you got for number 4?
These were my first tag team when I started watching wrestling full-time in 1992. Earthquake and Typhoon, the Natural Disasters, had just broken away from Jimmy Hart's stable, and they began a feud with the Money Incorporated. These guys fought for the tag team championships, and I was elated when they beat them for the belts. And again, this is one of my first moments as a kid. I think it's part of the reason why I have such a affinity for these guys. Big guys, obviously, like they were so athletic. And I have the opportunity to meet John Tenta. I talked to him briefly, but Fred Ottman, though, who played Typhoon, great guy. He is he's such a good guy. He's very humble, I guess it is, but he also takes advantage of what things he's done, and we actually had a chance to make some art for him, and he signed it and gave him a copy. Nice guy, though. I'm actually friends on Facebook with him.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you remember this, Lord Cash, but do you remember back when the Scorpion King came out in the movies that the theater that you and I worked at had a wrestling company that did a couple matches? You were a referee, actually.
Yes.
Do you happen to remember who owned that wrestling company?
I'm going to say Earthquake.
You would be correct, and I'm so glad you remember it perfectly. John Tenta was the guy that actually owned the wrestling company that worked at the movie theater near us.
Yeah, was that I'm trying to remember back. I wish I had, because one of the things that I did is I also I did a special guest referee for a I want to say it was a fatal 4-way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I ripped my pants. But I also took photos of the event for the theater, and I actually have the contacts to the lady that was in charge of the promotional team. That I'm sure she still has those binders that I made for her.
Oh, you got to get a hold of those. You imagine?
I'm actually gonna, now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm going to be sending her a Facebook message like, hey, by chance, do you still have the one for the Scorpion King? Because yeah, I would be interested to see who was on the roster at that time that may have evolved.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I know.
Because I have no idea who I even, because I know it was 3 guys and a girl that were doing the Fatal 4-Way, and the girl was supposed to win.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing to think about, like, who we could possibly have seen in that day, because it was a big event too.
Yeah, it was they had, like, right there in the drum at City Walk over at Universal Orlando, right there in that center drum there, they had the ring set up, and just, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to send her a Facebook message.
Awesome. Well, that was my number 4. Like I said, mine aren't in any particular order, but Natural Disasters, what a great team. I love them for real.
So I started watching wrestling really, really religiously, faithfully at the beginning of the 2000s. I think it was like that 2002 time frame, maybe 2001. And one of the best and most popular tag teams was going on at that time. And for me, I latched onto them. I just really enjoyed their style. They were innovators. So for me, my number 3 spot goes to none other than the Hardy Boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're still rocking it these days. I mean, they've been around forever and a day.
Yeah. Jeff is currently doing a singles career at WWE. Matt Hardy's doing his thing over in AEW. So, yeah, they're definitely still going on with their life and everything, and just, doing it up for the fans. But when they came together, in fact, I want to say it was WrestleMania 31 that and please correct me if I'm wrong, but like New Day comes out and goes, "Oh, we need another tag team," and then all of a sudden the Hardy Boys music hit, and just the arena just erupted.
Yeah, no, that was like a Jesus pop. Like I've only heard that level of an eruption like a handful of times, and that was one of them. The place was shaking.
Yeah, so like I said, for me, the things that they've done with the tag team division, with ladders, and then Edge and Christian, I wanted to put them in, but I did not. And then of course you've got the Dudley Boys. The 3 of them revolutionized the tag team division at the late 90s and early 2000s. So for me, I put them in as my number 3 spot.
Absolutely. Great pick that you got there with the Hardy Boys. It's funny that they're still called I think they started calling them the Hardys near the end. I was going to make a joke that they're no longer boys, but I think they
it's like that. Boys to Men.
Yes, exactly. Oh, well.
Nope. I thought you jumped away.
Nope. Spoiler. We're obviously on the same page with at least one of these, but cool. Amazing group. Back in the end of the 1990s, Scotty 2 Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, and Rikishi. If you were watching at that time, there was no act that was as over as these 3. They actually main evented Monday Night Raw with Austin and The Rock. Like, it seriously was Austin Rock too cool.
Yeah.
Some people might not agree with me, but seriously, everybody knew the dance. I did the worm everywhere. Like, yeah, exactly. You got the, and there was a role for everybody. If you were the fat guy in the group, you just did the Rikishi dance. I mean, I actually wore a what do you call it? A visor. When I was working at Disney the second time, I actually did my hair like Sky 2 Hotty. I'd actually spike my hair up when I had hair everywhere. And I did the worm. I did it anywhere I could do it, at parties and everything. And I don't know. They were fun to watch. I mean, they were good in the ring. Rikishi kept going long after this. Scotty and Rikishi were a team back when you and I were watching it even. Love Too Cool. And I hope that the whole crew gets inducted in the Hall of Fame. I was disappointed when Rikishi went in as a solo act. I thought that was a very unfortunate scenario, and I don't know why that happened. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but this group should be in the Hall of Fame as a trio. Too cool. Seriously, one of my favorite acts of the Attitude Era for certain. I mean, I like them better than Austin. I liked Austin for sure, but as far as like when I watched a show, if I heard their music, I'm like, I'm there. When they won the belts from Edge and Christian, when Joe C from Kid Rock helped them, I went crazy. I didn't think I'd ever win the belts. I was so big on Too Cool. So I know someone's gonna like try to unsubscribe that I said I like them better than Austin. But seriously, at that time, I really enjoyed this act. I think I said seriously about 10 times. But anyway, Too Cool.
So I wonder, like when you're talking about like the Hall of Fame, a lot of times they induct singles before they induct like groups.
Right.
You know, you've got, Ric Flair went in before the Four Horsemen. You kind of that. I don't know if that's just a formula that they do, but who knows? Well, maybe we'll get Rikishi can be a two-time Hall of Famer.
Right. And I do know that Grandmaster Sexay, who is no longer with us, he had died under kind of controversial circumstances, and I think it might have been like close to this. So it's feasible that they didn't want to put him in until things were settled out, especially because Jerry Lawler's his father. It might have been just kind of a fresh wound. But yeah, hopefully someday.
All righty. Well, for those that are watching, you may have seen my number 2 pick. And with that, again, it's one of those things where when they first debuted, I did not like them. But the more they came out to the ring, the more they did their stick and everything. Surprisingly enough, they won me over with their power of positivity. And that is, of course, New Day.
Absolutely.
They, as a trio, and even, in singles competition, they are fantastic in the ring. Big E had his moment where he was with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee early on, and I actually got to meet him at one of the FCW matches that they had here in Florida when they were touring around. So I got to meet the 3 of them. I wish I could have had the honor to meet Kofi as well as Xavier Woods, but they just know that they're fantastic. They are. I would say they are the DX of our generation in the goofiness, the playfulness, the innuendos that DX may have done back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Of course, watch our worst videos to see what all that what his opinion are of the return of DX in the early 2000s. But for me, like I said, the things that they do, I think it's, Francesca, the trombone comes out, and so for me, this is easily a number 2 spot. Could very easily be argued into a number 1, but I'm going to leave him here at number 2 for right now.
Might have something more to say on it in 2 minutes.
Did you say 3 minutes?
Yes, I know. 3-minute warnings. One of my all-time favorite tag teams. I actually really like the Bar.
Would you like to rephrase that?
No, I like going to the bar. I'm an alcoholic. No joke on that. But
just make sure you duck.
So these guys, their whole their interaction started with a rivalry. These two are actually fighting singles for a period of time because both acts weren't going anywhere realistically as far as booking. At the time, the commissioner had them do a series of matches against each other. Now, do you remember who the commissioner at the time was?
No, I don't.
Mick Foley was a co-commissioner with Stephanie McMahon. And so he had them keep going against each other, and ultimately their rivalry ended up becoming a brotherhood.
Right.
And this team just gelled. And you've got, Sheamus and Cesaro are fantastic. I mean, they're so good in the ring. And unfortunately, Cesaro is only now somewhat getting an opportunity to really show that. But no, I think if you look up any match that the Bar's in, you're not going to be disappointed. They, both guys had so many signature moves. They had tag team moves. And it doesn't hurt that their dance partners included teams like the Usos and the New Day. But I really like the Bar. When I was honestly thinking about it, making my list, they kind of surprised me. I'm going through it and I'm like, yeah, they were damn good. And like when they would come out, I really enjoyed their act. And they would have like the mix of their theme songs and like they'd go back to back with a big lighting effect. I don't know. If these guys tag team again, I'm going to be very happy. I think it'll be kind of a cool little reunion right there. But yeah, the Bar is my second to last pick. Again, I didn't put these in exact order, but they're up there. They're my top 5, obviously.
Yeah, maybe in late 2020s, they may have a rerun, or maybe in the 2030s they'll do it.
Yeah, it'll be a remake.
Exactly. All righty, so we are down to our last pick for our favorite tag team of all time. Potentially in no particular order, but they might be in an order. Who knows? So for me, this one might actually surprise you.
You already used Juice and Domino, though.
I know. So, but I do want to say, before I mention my number one, I at least have to give a honorable mention.
Me too. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I have an act that's definitely an honorable mention.
So, and the only reason why I truly I did not put them in my listing here is because they really, really, truly haven't had the opportunity to fully gel as a proper tag team.
Huh. Okay.
So for that, my honorable mention goes to none other than RK Bro.
Okay. Still waiting for that.
I know. And so, but again, not my actual, because again, they really haven't, I also, when I was making the list, I'm like, I didn't want those one-off, like, hey, John Cena and the Hulk Hogan go out there and tag team for a little bit. I wanted actual, like, long-term stables as my tag team opportunity. So yes, they've done some work, but they really haven't gelled as a true a tag team just yet. But I know that they're going to get there. We just got to get Randy back. We just got to, Randy, wherever you are, we're thinking of you.
Yeah, it's a slow burn for sure. But I'm looking forward to that next level. And then my honorable mention was actually Miz and Mizdow.
Oh my God.
Damien Sandow was a genius. If you have not watched them tag team, he's a stunt double. It was so good. His ability, if Miz gets suplexed, Damien Sandow would do the flip.
Yep.
And definitely Liberty Legend agrees that they were terrific.
Well,
I'm assuming
their terrific was my selection.
It might be.
But yes. Yours was they were phenomenal.
Absolutely. And thanks for joining us, Liberty Legend, for sure. Yeah, I love these guys. And I remember when they won the tag team titles, Miz made him carry the toy belts instead of wearing the real ones.
I do remember that. So
what is your real number one tag team in your favorites of all time?
All right. So as much as the Shield, when they made their debut, how impactful they were, there is another tag team that when they came on the scene, holy smokes, they like decimated everyone. And I think
three-man band.
And I think this one was during a John Cena match. So for me, it is none other. And again, this is one of those tag teams that we got a lot of star power out of it. And that is none other than Nexus.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
You had at the time was, oh my gosh, and I am blanking on his name. Who was the Ferrari?
Husky Harris.
There we go, Husky Harris, who later became Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
Then, of course, working our way from left to right on screen, I am totally blanking on everybody's name.
You got Curtis Axel.
There you go. Then that one is
David Otunga.
I had all of these when I'm like, yep, there. This one. I got the next one. That one's Bray Wyatt. Then it's Justin Gabriel, and then of course you've got Heath Ledger.
Nope, you don't have Heath Ledger. you have Heath Slater. Heath Ledger in Batman.
So yes, I meant to say Heath Slater, but my brain had other. But yes, you. Yes, thank you, Liberty Legend. You've got these 6 great people that, as a unit, and I think even technically, Daniel Bryan was part of the original 7.
Right. Well, and then like Liberty Legend said, there's also a guy named Michael Tarver that was part of it initially too. So I mean, they even like skimmed off a couple guys, and they still had this like powerful house of of wrestling. I can't know if I could say all of them are legends, but definitely like really they got a lot of mileage.
Well, like I said, Heath Slater did a huge run. Him with Rhino, him with various other people, the 3-man band. He had a lot of gimmicks along the way. I've got kids too.
I love that one. Yeah.
Wade Barrett, I loved his "I've got bad news for you." I don't know why I love that gimmick. David Otunga, he had a nice, because he was a Harvard graduate. If I remember correctly, right?
Yeah,
and
he's a lawyer.
At least.
I think he still works for the company too, but it can have more backstage stuff, setting.
Yeah. I think Curtis Axel is probably him or Justin Gabriel may have been like the weaker of the links of the 6. But even then, Justin Gabriel had a great tag team going on with I'm trying to remember, like it was him and Heath. They had a great run together. But again, and then of course Bray Wyatt, as former Husky Harris, just a huge. And was even Ryback part of this?
No, but they attacked Ryback. Like he was kind of he was part of. No, he was Skip Sheffield.
Yeah,
because he ripped his quad or something, and he left the group because of that.
Yeah. So
there were a lot of guys in this.
This for me, it was just a huge group that had a lot of members that even once the group disbanded, because even then at one point CM Punk had control over it.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm like, this was a huge group. They just came in and their debut, they laid waste to everybody. Like people are going like, what is going on? Like cameramen are getting attacked. The announcers were getting attacked. Everyone in the ring was just getting laid out.
The ring got ripped apart.
Yeah, like the things were exposed, and I'm just like, it was quite impactful. Like you're just like, what is going on? Almost like a fourth wall was removed of some degree. So for me, this one was my number 1 pick as far as best tag teams of all time for me.
And that's it, right? Because I mean, it's like you said, it's like impactful, right? And how it impacted you, because that's how boils down. Not everybody, has that same feeling on them, but when you really break it down, I agree. I think that you could almost not argue with like the members that came from that, and regardless of like ultimate booking, because they kind of dropped the ball with that they could have been running forever with this group.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many guys that came from that. Now my all-time, you mentioned them already, is the New Day. And there's a couple of reasons why I also appreciate the New Day. You hit on the head as far as all their in-ring accomplishments, but I respect the hell out of these guys as real people. They do a lot of things for like, charity and for just the community in general, for wrestling fans. And like, look at their ring gear. They design ring gear that some of it's just nostalgia laden. Like they were wearing Scorpion and Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero gear for a while. And then the Power Rangers are awesome, right? But they also designed Schoolhouse Rock style ring gear that focus on African Americans throughout history.
Yeah.
That's them trying to educate the youth, quite honestly, and celebrate pride, right? And I think it's amazing because wrestlers have an opportunity to make a difference. You know, anybody that's got like a camera in front of their face does have the opportunity. They're not required to. Not getting on that soapbox.
Yeah.
But some people do. Like Cena does all the Make-A-Wishes. These guys do take the opportunity to really get out there and kind of push things that we need to see. Again, my opinion. That's what we're here for, right? That's why I think they're the best. I don't know. In-ring, can't beat them. Creativity, can't beat them. Merchandising, forget about it. But they're funny. Yeah, they're just enjoyable to watch. And then, like I said, this up and above and beyond stuff that they do, in just in the world around beyond the four sets of ropes. I don't know. The New Day is actually my favorite tag team of all time, and it took this episode for me to like really think back about that and really realize that they are. They are. I really enjoy their run. I hope that Big E gets a title run. Even if he doesn't, I mean, they're all locked up for Hall of Fame. They could rest their head easy. But it would be nice to give the guy the big belt. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that's who I took as my favorite tag team of all time.
Well, I personally, I agree with some of your list that you've got there. And like I said, I had New Day at number 2, but I feel that easily could have been, a lot of these can be swayed one way or the other on as far as individual ranking goes. So yeah, being the fact that they're number 1, I would not argue with that at all.
Oh crap, I forgot Retribution.
Sorry, this is the Hulu edition.
Yeah, exactly, that's why they're not on. Oh my Lord. Well,
I was actually going to mention them in my worst.
Yeah, I thought about it. They didn't do enough, but
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed yourself the time. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Mouth marbles over here. Join us for all of our other shows. If you're interested, we do have the Game Room on Wednesdays. I stream, you stream on Thursdays. Funko Royalty Fridays. Saturday brings you Mail Call, Mail Time. Sunday is Call of the Wild. Crazy Card Collecting on Mondays. And remember, if you're not here on 8 p.m., that's okay. All of our videos can be watched on YouTube. We have over 200 videos on that channel, but also we have Twitch and StreamYard. I think I'm ready to go, Lord Cash. I am stumbling over my words. So I think it's time. Are you ready, Lord Cash, to see us on the way out?
Yes, Mouth Marbles. I am ready to hit the road.
Me too. Until next time, everybody, thanks for joining us. And nice. Yeah, there it is. Adios, guys.
Bye-bye.